What is strategy evaluation framework? What is effective strategy evaluation? What are those important strategy evaluation and control? If you are asking me the same question, then you are at the right video. Hello there! In this video, we are going to tackle important lessons for strategic management, namely strategic review, evaluation, and control, which also consists of 9 subtopics, namely nature of strategy evaluation, process of evaluating strategies, strategic evaluation framework, the balanced scoreboard, published sources of strategy evaluation information, characteristics of an effective evaluation system, contingency planning, auditing, 21st century challenges in strategic management, and also the conclusion. I know hearing all of these topics seems to be very heavy, but we are here to make it seems to be easy to understand as we can. But before anything else, allow me to introduce my very active team members, starting with Ms. Josa Villesa, followed by Mr. Keith Charles Gallagher, and then with Ms. Heidi Maduli, and of course, yours truly, James Kenneth Angyat. And to fully identify to what we are going to achieve after this video, here are the list of learning objectives. First, describe a practical framework for evaluating strategies. Second, explain why strategy evaluation is complex, sensitive, and yet essential for organizational success. Third, is to discuss the importance of contingency planning in strategy evaluation. Fourth, discuss the role of auditing in strategy evaluation. Fifth, explain how computers can aid in evaluating strategies. Sixth is to discuss the balanced scoreboard. Seventh is to discuss 21st century challenges in strategic management. The best formulated and best implemented strategies become obsolete as a firm's external and internal environments change. It is essential, therefore, that strategists systematically review, evaluate, and control the execution of strategies. This chapter presents a framework that can guide the manager's effort to evaluate strategic management activities, to make sure that they are working, and to make timely changes. Management information systems being used to evaluate strategies are discussed. Guidelines are presented for formulating, implementing, and evaluating strategies. And now, let's begin to our first discussion on topic 1 entitled Nature of Strategy Evaluation. Strategic evaluation is defined as the process of determining the effectiveness of a given strategy in achieving the organizational objectives and taking corrective action wherever required. Strategy evaluation includes 3 basic activities in evaluating strategies. These activities are good measurement to know if the strategy is effective and to see if there is a need to change the strategy if there is a problem. And so, the first activity is the examination of the underlying basis of a firm's strategy. Second is the comparing of the expected results with actual results. And lastly is to taking corrective actions to ensure that performance conforms to plans. The first one is about assessing the basis of a firm's strategy. What, how, and why this strategy is needed to a firm to be implemented. The second one is about comparing the expected results with the actual results, wherein this helps in knowing if the strategy is effectively implemented if expected results are realized by its actual results. Lastly, the third activity is about taking corrective actions to see to it that the strategy implemented is well performed and is executed according to the plans. In Romel's theory, strategy evaluation is simply an assessment of organizational performance, but using it does not guarantee that it will work. And so, Richard Rumelt offered four criteria that could be used to evaluate a strategy, which is consistency, consonance, feasibility, and advantage. Consistency and feasibility are largely based on an internal assessment, while consonance and advantage are mostly based on a firm's external assessment. Consistency in Rumel's criteria states that a strategy must not have a conflicting goals and objectives. Conflict within the organization reflects to a problem in management but can also refer to strategic inconsistency. We can say that there is a strategic inconsistency if the problem remains, even though there is a change of personnel. Second is the success of one department is seen as a failure to another. And lastly, if top management continue to have a hand in resolving issues at the lower level. Another criterion is a consonance, which emphasizes the importance of examining sets of trends in relation to individual trends. A strategy symbolizes an adjustment to an external stimulus or changes in the environment. The challenges of this sort of strategy formulation is that most trends are results of other trends. So it is important to know and examine what is happening outside the firm. The third criterion is feasibility. Feasibility refers to the strategy that must neither overtax available resources nor create unsolvable sub-problems. It is all about not taking too much available resources that is not feasible enough to be realized. Furthermore, the strategy must be feasible that it won't cause or create another sub-problems that may affect a firm. And the last criterion is advantage. Advantage refers to the strategy that must provide for the criterion and or maintenance of a competitive advantage in the selected area of activity. Advantage is all about having the competitive advantage of a selected area over their rivals and seeing to it that their strategy is doing better. A strategy that fails to meet one or more of these criteria is strongly suspect. It fails to perform at least one of the key functions that are necessary for the survival of the business. Experience within a particular industry or other setting will permit the analyst to sharpen these criteria and add others that are appropriate to the situation at hand. As the world shifts into modernization, strategy evaluation is getting harder and harder today. Here are the reasons why. First is that there is a dramatic increase in the environment's complexity. Then there is an increasing difficulty of predicting the future with accuracy. Another one is the increasing number of variables. Then the rapid rate of obsolescence of even the best plans. Another one is an increase in the number of both domestic and world events affecting organizations. And lastly, the decreasing time span for which planning can be done with any degree of certainty. And now, we are down to our second topic, which is entitled Process of Evaluating Strategies. Strategy evaluation is necessary for all sizes and kinds of organization. Strategy evaluation should initiate managerial questioning of expectations and assumptions, should trigger a review of objectives and values, and should stimulate creativity in generating alternatives, and formulating criteria of evaluation. Successful strategies combine with patience, with a willingness to promptly take corrective actions when necessary. There always comes a time when corrective actions are needed in an organization. Centuries ago, a writer, perhaps Solomon, made the following observations about change. Allow me to read. There is a time for everything, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And this would be all for my assigned topic. Stay tuned for the next topics. Bye-bye!